The last bus of Route 375, China's most mysterious incident. On the night of November 14, 1995, as Bus 375 set off from the Yuanmingyuan bus terminal in China to the Fragrant Hills of Jiangshan, neither the driver nor any of the passengers had a clue that this trip would turn into the scariest journey of their lives. It was midnight, and the silence on the road was so eerie that all you could hear was the engine, cutting through the cold winds. Besides the driver and a female conductor, there was an old woman on the bus. A couple and a guy made a total of 4 people on board when the driver suddenly spotted 2 shadows on the road. He slammed the brakes, causing everyone in the bus to lurch forward. Before any of the passengers could say anything to the driver, the bus door swung open and 3 strange-looking people hopped on. 2 of them were helping the third one climb aboard, but this third person had his neck completely bent down. I couldn't even see his face, and the scary part, these 3 people climbing onto the bus were wearing traditional clothes that looked like something out of Queen Diana's time in China. Their faces were this weird, scary shade of yellow that would freak out any regular person, including you and me. And that's exactly what happened. The people who were already on the bus got really scared when they saw these 3 strange folks. And the bus conductor noticed too, because everyone was just staring at each other's faces. They stare at the conductor with scared eyes. And just like that, the bus keeps moving deeper into the pitch-black darkness. Meanwhile, the fear among the other passengers grows. Just then, the conductor approaches those 4 passengers and tells them they don't need to worry about the 3 people because they might just be actors from a drama who got so wasted after the show that they couldn't even change out of their costumes. And that old woman sitting in the back seat behind the driver, well, I don't know why, but she kept turning around to look at those 3 weird people sitting behind her. Everything was fine until then, but after 3 or 4 more stops, the bus stopped again, and a young couple got off. Now, besides the driver, the conductor, and those 3 strange people, there was only an old lady and a man left on the bus. But as the bus moved a little further, the calm atmosphere inside suddenly got disrupted because that old lady started acting really weird and lunged at the man sitting in front of her. She starts screaming and saying some really harsh things. When the conductor asks what's going on, she says her wallet is missing from her bag and that the man stole it. When the man hears this accusation, he doesn't stay quiet either and starts arguing back with the old lady. Their argument gets so heated that the driver has to stop the bus to calm them down. Anyway, the old lady refuses to back down and tells the driver to stop the bus at the next stop and kick both her and the man off. Both of them went to the police station to sort out their issue. Now, whether that guy actually stole the old lady's purse or not, only the police could tell. So the bus driver stops the bus on the way, and the old lady pushes the guy off the bus and gets off herself. They both head to the police station. This whole scene took a while, so the driver didn't wait for them and continued on to his destination, which would turn out to be the biggest mistake of his life. In fact, one day news came in that the bus never even reached its destination, and the driver, the conductor, and the bus just vanished somewhere along the way. When the police launched a search operation to find the bus, they couldn't find a single clue. After that, suspicion fell on an old woman and a man who had gotten off the bus just before it disappeared. Now, friends, when that old woman got off with the man, she immediately apologized to him and told him the whole truth about how she had made a false accusation against him. Yeah, so here's the thing, guys. That old lady started getting suspicious of those 3 weirdos sitting behind her. And when the bus was speeding along, she noticed something that would freak you out too. Because of the wind, their clothes were blowing around, and she realized those 3 didn't even have legs. That made it clear they weren't human, but some kind of ghost or spirit. When the guy heard her say this, he felt like the ground was falling out from under him. And he got scared too because he just couldn't wrap his head around it. So he manages to convince himself somehow and then calls the police. After that, both of them tell the police everything that happened. They question the old woman and the man again after the bus goes missing, and they repeat the same story they told the night before. Now, the police are completely dismissing their story, but a lot of newspapers are covering this story prominently, and the old woman and the man even get interviewed live on TV, making this news a sensation. In China, there was a lot of pressure on the police to find a missing bus because everyone kept asking where it had disappeared to. The police were running a search operation, and then 2 days later, they suddenly found the missing bus, which had sunk in Myeom Dam, about 100 kilometers from Fragrant Hills. When they pulled the bus out of the water, they discovered the bodies of 3 people inside, who had started to decompose badly. Later, it turned out that one of the bodies was that of the bus conductor, and another was the driver. But the identity of the third body remains a mystery to this day. The situation is pretty weird because, in terms of identification, those 3 bodies had decomposed, and that was a mystery in itself. When the autopsies were done, it turned out there was no external tampering, which is surprising. You see, even in summer, it takes about 3 to 4 days for bodies to decompose. And this was winter. So for those bodies to decompose so badly in just 2 days raised a lot of questions among people. I even heard that it was on the bus. There wasn't enough fuel for the bus to even reach the Myeom Dam. When the police opened the bus's fuel tank during the search, instead of finding petrol, they found it filled with blood. They didn't let anyone out because they didn't want to create a panic among the people. At that time, they also checked all the cameras around the Myeom Dam area, but surprisingly, none of them captured the bus entering the dam. In fact, there was no trace of the bus even in the far areas near the dam. They never found any clues, which was honestly surprising. Even today, people are still talking about this story on the internet, and we see a bunch of different versions of it. Some versions are the same, but in others it's mentioned that the bodies of the driver and conductor were found with their necks twisted in a really messed up way, almost like someone had done it on purpose. Plus, in 1 or 2 versions of the story, that third unidentified body is just completely left out. I mean, apart from the driver and conductor, there's no mention of anyone else. The body of the third person was never found on the bus, and on top of that, the year when this incident happened is also inconsistent. Some say it was in 1995, others claim it was in 1992, and some even say it happened in 1993. Because of all these different versions, a lot of people don't believe the story at all. They think it's just a fabrication by the person who gave the live interview, and maybe they made up this story after hearing about the bus going missing just to get famous. You know, it's pretty common for people to create these kinds of stories to gain attention. But if this is just one side of the story, why not look at it from another angle? What do you think? Could it be that the police intentionally misled people? Or did they find something that if they shared, it would scare people? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you're new to the channel and want to see more interesting videos like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Good night.